Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ria, this is Ellen Evan Co, and here I will be helping you create and curate your dream wardrobe in 2025. Now, I know I'm a little bit late to the bandwagon, but I thought I'd jump on here and film for you guys everything I made in 2024. It's still January, right? It's still the new year, we've got a couple more days. I feel like not only is this a great way that I can showcase everything I did last year, but it's also a really good platform to launch off into the new year. You know, talk about the highs and the lows, some things I learned, things we're taking into 2025, and things we are leaving in 2024. So, I'm basically going to run you through each piece that I made. I'll talk sort of about the fabric, the material, if there was a pattern that I used, if it was self-drafted, all of that kind of thing. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I want to start with the outfit that I'm wearing. Also, forgive my hair. It's like at that awkward Lord Farquaad stage and I need to go and get it cut. I just haven't had time. So, here we are. This isn't technically my first make of 2024, but it's the first one I'm going to chat about because I'm wearing it. So it is my waistcoat and pant set. Now I love these. I feel like this was so in this year. Like I saw this kind of vibe everywhere and I'm praying that it's in 2025 as well because I just love this. And you know what, even if it isn't in, like we're not here for trends. I feel like this is timeless. You can wear it anywhere. So to start with the waistcoat, this was a self-drafted pattern. The pants are by Mood Fabrics, it's like part of their free patterns online. I made them both out of black cotton drill that I found on Dun. I think I got them from Dun Cheap Fabrics, which is like an online fabric store, and I think I got them on special for like $7 a meter, so it was an absolute steal. So this is a self-drafted waistcoat. I did make a few variations to get to this one. It still does need a little bit of alterations. You can't really tell because it's made in black, but I do need to take out a bit of bulk here and like insert that into this dart. So if I make it again, I'll definitely do that. I love that like the buttons are all covered. Look at myself. And then with the pants, they've got this really cute like pinstripe detail, which I love. I've made these pants a lot, and for a free pattern, they're so good. Like it's free, who cares? There's just, I've made a few tweaks. The instructions are kind of weird. Like when you're putting in the fly and the stuff, the instructions are great. Again, like it's a free pattern, whatever. I'm gonna download that pattern. I will link any patterns that I've used in the description below, so feel free to check it out. It's just the instructions for the pockets are a bit, doesn't really make sense. And I went on Reddit and I went on YouTube and all of these forums and even read the comments on the Mood website, and a lot of people said the same thing. So I've just finally figured out how to master the pockets and they fit really well. Love that. And the only other thing I did change about this pattern as well is the waistband. So the waistband is like made up of 4 rectangles on the Mood pattern. I do not like straight waistbands. You will not see me using a straight rectangular waistband on this channel. I'm not about it. I like a curved waistband. I don't know about you guys, but as a female, my waist to booty ratio, like there's always that gap you get. And I find when I make any kind of skirt or pants, if I add a waistband to it, I'll always cut it on the curve. It gives it a little bit of stretch. It moves with your body because your body is not like 2D. Your body is circular, so it makes sense that you need something that's circular. Anyway, I'll get into that in another video. But I did, yeah, sort of alter how I was doing the pockets and completely change the waistband on these pants. But I love them. I love it so much. I've worn this a lot. I went to a business conference. I wear this waistcoat like everywhere. It's been breastfeeding friendly, which is nice. I'm just so happy with them. I did French seams in the pockets. I did French seams on the sides, the flies, like perfect. So yeah, I get a lot of wear out of both of these. I love them. So this here is technically my first make of 2024. I think I bought the fabric and started cutting it out at the end of 2023, but it was made at the beginning of this year. It is a matching vest and short set. It was very like, I wanted to give like old money, like clean girl, getting on her yacht kind of vibe. Yeah, look, I love this set. You probably would have seen it on my TikTok and my Instagram, and it's been great. There's just this set caused me a few issues, and I'm gonna get into why, so that hopefully you guys can learn from it. I am gonna preface, so I don't say it all the time throughout this video because I don't want to sound like a broken record. 2024 was the year of alterations because I went through a bit of weight loss. I don't want to keep saying it over and over again, but that's kind of been the theme, is remaking stuff. And that began with this set. So the shorts, I love this short pattern. This is the bubble short pattern. I've used it so many times. The first issue that I had with this is not related to the pattern. It's related to me, and I didn't pre-wash my fabric. Like an idiot. Always pre-wash your fabric, people, because your fabric can and does shrink. So it shrunk at first, which was not ideal. The second problem is my mum gifted me a whole heap of her sewing supplies, and I didn't realize that one of the threads she gave me was a silk embroidery thread. I just thought it was a polyester thread from my machine, and I used it to sew these shorts, and the seams just started like unraveling because it's silk and it's not meant for making clothes. So I went to the op shops with my best friend, and we were getting into the car. Thank God it was when we were getting into the car, and the whole entire back seam just completely came, like it didn't even rip, like the thread just unraveled and my butt was everywhere. So we quickly came home. So I realized that there were a lot of other seams coming undone on this. So I went in and stitched it up with like a cotton all-purpose thread. So that was the first issue. The second issue with the shorts was that the fly that I put in them, like the zipper, was dodgy. And the second time I went to wear them, the fly just kept falling down. And there's nothing more embarrassing than being at the shops and your fly keeps falling down. So that was hard. So we had to completely take out the fly and redo it. And these shorts have been remade like 4 times. But I love them, they're so cute, and I love the color. The second part of this set is obviously the waistcoat. So I did use a pattern for this one. This one is, I believe, the Gilbert waistcoat by Pattern Co. She's awesome. Her patterns are really cool. She has a tutorial that goes along with them. It is in Spanish, but there's subtitles, so it's really easy to follow. The buttons on this one are from my grandmother-in-law, my husband's grandma. Her stash, she gifted me a whole heap of sewing supplies, so they're from that. Issues with this, I didn't interface it, I don't think. I interfaced the lining, but I didn't interface the shell. I should have interfaced the shell because it's floppy where the buttons are. And I've taken this in as well, the sides. Because it's fully lined, I just did a little quick. I didn't want to have to completely redo it. But I did learn a really cool technique, which is like the burrito method. So I didn't know how to finish armholes like this in a fully lined garment before making this, which is an invaluable skill. I want to jump into skirts now. This skirt is made with the same black cotton drill as like this set, and it's self-drafted, and I'm very pleased with it. So what I do whenever I make skirts or dresses now, because I don't know about anyone else watching this, but I got a bit of a butt from the gym and stuff, so there's never enough fabric when I buy ready to wear or when I make a pattern or buy a pattern. There's never enough fabric to compensate for the booties. So what I do now is I don't make my front and my back the same length. I actually usually always add like between 1.5 inches to 2 inches in the back and curve it out. And what this means is that when I wear a mini skirt, it's not illegal and my butt doesn't hang out and I feel comfortable in it, but it still looks like it's the same length as the front because there's like enough fabric to accommodate. Do you know what I'm saying? So I love this for that. It's also completely lined. I tried to do the burrito method in the same way you do with the top, but I learned you actually need to do it a little bit differently with the skirt, which again, I can make a video on, but I found that really interesting. It was only after I'd like almost finished making it that I decided I wanted to put belt loops in it. And you can't really see because it's black, thank goodness, but I didn't have a waistband like in it. So gosh, I can probably bring it up to the camera. So like I've added in the belt loops and there's no waistband. So that's actually just been like stitched, this line, and I've tacked the belt loops down. So they are like fraying a little bit. Like I said, because it's black, you can't really tell. But it also just means there's not enough like tension when I wear a belt. So it does sit a little bit funny. And it's funny because I did make it again. This is the same pattern. It does look a little bit different. The way I pressed the seams is a bit different. I pressed them open and this one isn't lined. But this is also made from a cotton drill, just in this beautiful green color. I love this color. Oh, Zarina, if you're watching this, You're welcome. I know you love this color too. What I am most proud about with this make is that it's pretty much completely zero waste. So I didn't buy this fabric. It was gifted to me by my mum, and I'm pretty sure she bought it secondhand as well, but maybe don't quote me on that. There's only like a meter and a bit of it, and I squeezed every inch of fabric out of this, which was so great. The zip in the back is ripped out from an old dress of mine that was broken, so didn't even need to get a new zip, and the lining that I used for the facing was scrap fabric, so pretty happy with that. Again, this is the same pattern, I just added in a waistband as well, and then it was my first attempt of top stitching. I didn't use a top stitching thread. I've learned that you need to do that, but I'm really happy with this. This one gets a lot of wear in my wardrobe. Next off the ranks for skirts slash shorts is this skirt. Now for me, a skirt like this, like I think I said this on my Instagram, I will wear this and happily wearing this and its matching white one as my like uniform. Like if I was a cartoon character, this is what I'd be wearing. Now this is self-drafted as well completely, so a self-drafted pair of pants slash like skirt I'm just so proud of. And this is like the second iteration. So I made this one first and it was a lot more like bubbly, came away from my body. I will insert some pictures here so you can see it, and I was really unhappy with it, and the zip was also in the side seam and it just kept distorting the sit and the seam, and I was really unhappy with it. This is literally just black cotton, and gosh, I just love it. So it's got a curved waistband as per usual, it's got this little flappy bit, put this the zipper in the back seam and it lays flat now, and it's just beautiful. This is also fully lined. Yeah, I know. I do find though these are a little bit cheeky for, you know, every day, especially when I'm out and about with the boys. I don't usually wear this, but I'm out and about with them. Like I'm bending down and picking them up a lot and carrying them around. So I'm like climbing on playground equipment. So I don't wear these too much when I'm out with them, but I did redraft it in the white pair, which I could not find for the life of me. In the white pair, I've like lowered the hem, similar to what I've done in those skirts where it's, I've like curved it around here. It is a bit lower, although I still think I need to lower it a tiny bit. Maybe just like the whole short needs to be lowered, but I just love this. It feels like one of those pieces that is so quintessentially my style, because it's like preppy, but it's also street, but it can be dressed up and it can be dressed down. I just love this so much. This next dress, this dress has been an interesting time. So I started making this one just as the weight sort of started to come off, and I was making it and I was like, it's gonna be way too small, won't be able to do it up, I'm gonna let it out. And then I let it out, and then like a couple of weeks later, I came back to it and it was way too big. So I just remade this dress so many times, and it is made from this beautiful like vintage embroidery ongles that my mum gifted me. It belonged to a friend of hers, really close family friend, and some Prima homespun cotton. And I really, really wanted to do this dress justice. And like, I think I have, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. On the last time taking it in, I went to take in the back seam, but I'm actually taking in the back seam and then the side seam. Like, I haven't even taken in the right seam, so that's ridiculous. I think the issue is the zip. There's like a lot of weight here and the zip just is struggling. So I think I need to get a stronger zip or something. But I just had such high expectations and high hopes for this dress, and it's just not met them, and it's kind of to the point where I've made it and remade it and cut it up and unpicked it so many times that like I just don't even want to look at it anymore. And like, this happens when you're sewing, and I've had this happen with so many projects, and then I literally put them to the side and come back like 6 months later, like my sojo has been replenished and it's fine, but it's at that point where I'm like, oh, you had so much potential. Like, it looks great on the hanger and it looks semi-decent when I wear it, but it's just, I'm not 100% happy with it. But in terms of the details, so this bodice was made using the, I think it's the strapless mini corset pattern by Kiana Bonolo. If you're a beginner sewer or you're an advanced sewer and you've never heard of her, she is amazing. I started following her on her channel because it's quite small, and it's been amazing to watch her grow as a designer. I just love her pattern that she has for this one. I've actually used that pattern so many times and gotten so much use out of it. So I used the corset pattern because it had like this scoopy sort of vibe going on down here. And I then self-drafted the skirt to go on it, so it's gathered around like the basque waistline, which is not easy to do. I want to love this. I don't want to hate it. We're on a break right now, me and this dress. The dress I am incredibly proud of though is this one. This is semi-self-drafted, semi-Frankenstein, I suppose. It was a vintage dress pattern, but I made adjustments to the skirt. So I made the skirt come out more like away from my body rather than being so pencily. I also did the thing where you lower at the hem, so it is, you can actually tell right now, like it is much lower in the back hem than it is at the front. This is made from a vintage upholstery jacquard. Someone tell me how to pronounce it in the comments below, please. That would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, it's an upholstery fabric. I made this one in winter time, and that's really the only time you can wear it here in Queensland. I like to layer it, my turtlenecks and my stockings and stuff. It's so classy. It gives me like Jackie Kennedy. Like it's just Jackie, like I just love it. I love it so much. I love the color. I feel like it really makes my eyes pop, and the silhouette's just beautiful. So I feel like the boat neck is really in this season, like this last year or so. I also think that that look is kind of timeless as well. I squeezed, again, every inch out of this fabric. The pieces that I used for the facing have actually been like pieced together from the scrap of cutting it out because there wasn't going to be enough to cut it out in one piece. And it's just things like that that you can do to really make the most out of your fabric and reduce your waste and your offcuts, is making the most out of them. And I was really happy with the zipper in this one as well. So great winter dress, but I am a bit sad that it didn't get much wear this year. I'm wanting to get a bit more wear out of it this year in the winter, just because I was breastfeeding this year just gone, so I could only wear this when I wasn't with my baby, which was not very often, so it will get a bit more wear this winter, I'm sure. This one is a really, really great dress made out of a black Prima homespun cotton. This is a vintage one, I think, that my mum lent me, gifted me. I'll have it up here somewhere, what pattern this is. I love it. It's got a tie-up back. I didn't line it because I wanted this to be like my go-to summer dress, like my little black dress. Like I said before, I forgot that I was a breastfeeding mum, and this is not a breastfeeding friendly dress, so it didn't get as much wear as I was actually hoping it would. But I did wear it out on a couple of date nights with my husband. It's got like this plunging back. This is one of the ones that I have had to take in multiple times. I may even have to take it in again, but that's okay. The really big thing that irks me about it is that I overlocked it with white thread. I had issues when I did have every intention of overlocking it with black thread, but whenever I put my black thread in it, it just kept snapping in my overlocker, which I think has more to do with the thread quality and like durability. But still, if I were to change anything, I would just go out and buy some proper thread, or I would have maybe lined it in a lighter fabric. It's a really, really classic, elegant kind of silhouette, and I just love it. Next off the ranks is this beautiful dress that I made for my best friend's engagement party. I was really inspired last year by Sabo Skirt, their head designer Zoe. She's great. Shout out to you, Zoe, you know what you're doing. I found this one at Spotlight, this print, and I just was like, whoa, I've been looking for something like that. I love it. I wanted something that was going to be floaty and fun and breastfeeding friendly. This definitely ticked all of those boxes. So it is the Daria Pattern Making Million Button Dress Bodice, and I watched her YouTube video on how she drafted the Go Day paneled skirt to go with it. So beautiful. It's so like 1930s, very elegant, very like, just stunning, love it, timeless. And then the sleeves were sleeves from like a vintage 80s wedding dress that I have in my stash, so I pieced it all together. This one, I originally made it with like a little corseted piece in the back. I'd taken them out and I've taken this whole piece in. I've removed, I think I've sized it down maybe two sizes. I haven't worn it since the party, but I just love it. I loved styling it. It's so like free and floaty. The tie from it is part of what was the corset, but now I just tie it around my hair. It looks really cute. So there's that one. It's really fun. It just gives me like days at the beach, picnic, that kind of thing. It wasn't until almost the end of the year that I decided to make myself something that was breastfeeding friendly. Self-drafted pattern, and it's made out of this beautiful black linen. This one has gotten a lot of wear. And more like at home, because I realized after I made it, it's not like super my style, but it's a really great one to just throw on, especially when I'm around the house and I need to have easy access to the goods to feed my baby. These next pieces that I'm about to show you are probably some of my favorite ones from this year. I get so happy thinking about them. So this is the first one, and this is like a little beautiful mini skirt, strapless summer dress. I just love it. So my mother-in-law bought me this fabric from Bali when she went on retreat there maybe 2 years ago, and maybe longer. She gave it to me at the start of 2023, I believe. And I just thought it was so incredibly beautiful, and I had no idea what I wanted to make, and I didn't want to like butcher it and chop it up. And then I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, I don't want to make anything with it because like my body's going to change, and like, oh, it doesn't fit anyway. It then came down to 2 designs I really wanted to make, and I could not for the life of me decide, and I was holding off and holding off. And to my absolute surprise, I went to the Nest, which those of you that live in Brisbane, it's based here in Brisbane, so I highly recommend going to the Nest if you're based in Brizzy. I went to the Nest and I found this exact fabric. I saw it hanging up. It's like in a green and a gold, which I'll show you right now. Like, are you kidding me? Imagine my surprise. Like, I saw this fabric hanging on the rack and it was $10, and I was like, that is mine. I have to have it. So not only did I not have to choose which design, I got, you know, 2 dresses made out of essentially the same fabric, but they look completely different. And I couldn't believe it. It was like one of those serendipitous moments. Amazing. This first one with the fabric that was bought in Bali, the bodice is made from another Kiana Bonolo pattern, so it's a little bit higher, which is nice, a little less cheeky, if you will. I drafted the skirt, and I'm so happy with it because the darts match the seams perfectly, the side seams match perfectly. Like, there is nothing more satisfying than when the seams match up. So that is beautiful. I added like a ruffle, got every inch out of this fabric and tried to use all of its beautiful details and pieces. Yeah. It's stunning. Oh yes, also it's fully lined in the bodice, and the bodice is boned. We love that. That is my rule going into 2025, is that if we make anything strapless, it will be boned. That is the rule. And this is the second piece that I was telling you about. Look at it. Look at it. So it's like this one shoulder, diagonally cut bodice at the top. It was a vintage pattern that I altered, and again, I got like every inch out of the fabric. I really wanted to make the most of all of the different elements that this fabric had, and I just am so happy that I didn't have to choose between the 2 designs. You know, I got to have both of them. I just love it. Now, this dress is also a heavy contender for one of my favorite makes of the year. I love this dress, and this dress is like a full circle moment because the original thing that I made out of this fabric when I bought it was such a fail. So let me take you on a little bit of a story time. So I bought this fabric and I wanted to create, or recreate rather, this design here, which is this like wrap t-shirt or like wrap shirt situation with this really cute skirt by Zarko, which is an offshoot of Sabo skirt. And I saw this and I was like, yeah, love that. I'm gonna make that for my mum and dad's 40th wedding anniversary. I didn't twirl the top, I just cut into the fabric and made it. And like literally within like a second or 2 of cutting it out, I was like, break. I made a mistake. Anyway, I kept working on it, and the more I got into it, literally everyone, my mum, my dad, my husband, my brother, my cat, was like, cool kimono. And I was like, I'm not making a kimono. That is not the vibe that I was going for. So I finished the skirt, had the skirt, and then cut up the top. And I took what was turning into a kimono apparently, and I made this little vintage pattern bralette out of it. Never wore it and then was like, why did I make that? And I just loved the print of this fabric, and I really was just like, I don't know what to do. And then I just had this epiphany a few months later, and I decided to then make this. There was enough fabric to be salvaged from, you know, the scraps and the skirt itself to make this. The Kiana Bonolo mini skirt and corset pattern, I did raise the neckline for this one to match her graduation dress because I prefer the neckline of that one. It's a bit too cheeky for me, but it's got the basque waistline again, and then again the skirt is self-drafted. I just love it. I feel so great in this dress. I feel snatched, I feel beautiful. I love it. It's feminine but also like sexy. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a mix of like super girly and also like sexy, which I love. Now the detailing here, this lace trim is a gift from my stepmother-in-law, and she gave this to me, and it just touched my heart so much because her mother, I believe, hand like stitched this, and it's just beautiful. So my stepmother-in-law is from Turkey, and this was hand stitched by her family in Turkey, and the fact that she even like gifted it to me was just so touching. And then when I made this and showed her photos, she cried tears of joy because she thought it was so beautiful. So whenever I wear this, I just think of her, and yeah, I just love it. Anyway, so this piece, I fully lined it. I originally put cups in the bust and it just wasn't working. I made a little Instagram story about it. I added boning channels, and again, anything we make in 2025 that is strapless will have bones. Now the last piece for this video and my last make of 2025, I wore this on Christmas Day, is this beautiful two-piece set. I was gifted this vintage tablecloth by my mum, and it's one of those pieces that I had for ages in my cupboard until I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. The top is it's the same pattern by Kiana Bonolo. That one, if you buy it, it is worth its weight in gold. I've got so much use out of it just this year alone, so 10 out of 10 would recommend that. Pattern for the skirt that was used for my self-drafted skirt. So this is fully lined, the top is fully lined, it's boned, it's got a separating zip. This fabric, whilst beautiful, is a bitch to work with. It's phrased, it's embroidered obviously, so you have to move really quickly. You know, an A-line skirt, this part here is sort of cut on the bias, which means it stretches out, and that's terrifying. It actually ended up having to cut out a heap of the skirt because it did stretch out so much. So, you know, but I just love it. It's so summer, it's so beautiful. I am gonna get a lot of wear out of this one, I'm sure. Well guys, that is it for everything I made in 2024. Yeah, that's everything I made. I've learned so much. And like I said, I think this is a good platform for what we're doing in 2025. Something I have learned is I really like sewing, and I'm drawn towards like bright florally sort of printed patterns like the ones you've seen, and I do love every piece that I made out of those patterns this year, but I'm not as drawn to wearing them. I feel much more comfortable in my blacks, my whites, my neutrals, my greens. To me, green is a neutral color. I know, shocking, right? A redhead that, you know, likes wearing green, whatever, I don't care. So for this year, I think with that in mind, I want to try and make more wearable pieces. I love every piece that I've made this year, but the bulk of what I've made is not everyday wear. It's more like going out and stuff like that, which I don't really do. So I think this year I want to try and focus on making more everyday wear that's elevated. Something like this. You know, I can wear this anywhere, I can wear this every day. And sticking sort of to not like a capsule wardrobe, but I just want to make more sensible, practical makes this year, if that makes sense. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Stick around this year if you want to learn to create and cultivate your dream wardrobe in 2025. I'll be teaching you how to sew your wardrobe, how to shop. Don't forget guys to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really does support my channel. Also feel free to drop a comment below what was your favorite make of the year, what was your least favorite, you know, a little bit of controversy, we love that. And also what your sewing plans for the year are. I'd love to hear it, and stick around guys, there'll be much more to come. Thanks so much, bye.